Ancient Hebrew History, From Abraham to Roman Rule, researched, written, and lectured by Jonathan Grimmens. The Hebrews were a monotheistic and legalistic nation that differed from the Mesopotamian nations around them in religious belief and cultural influence. The Hebrews made their primary contribution to civilization in the area of religion rather than military conquest or politics. From about 2000 BC onward, the Semitic-speaking Hebrews moved from the surrounding deserts of Syria and Arabia, where they lived as nomads, into less desolate regions of West Asia. In 2100 BC, Abraham led a contingent from Ur in Babylonia to Canaan, which is Palestine. The Torah, that is, the law in Hebrew, claims that God called Abraham to leave his homeland. In doing so, Abraham's faith was proven, and God made a covenant with him, saying that he will make his descendants into a great nation. This nation, in years to come, is the nation of Israel. According to Hebrew historical text, the lineage of Abraham continued 2 generations through his son Isaac to his grandson Jacob. Jacob, also named Israel, had 12 sons in total. His second to youngest son, Joseph, was hated by his brothers and was sold into slavery by them. He was enslaved in the house of Pharaoh for many years, where he ended up becoming second in command. During Joseph's co-rule, a severe famine struck Palestine and Egypt. To avoid this famine, Joseph's brothers sought to buy food from Egypt and return home to their family. When they arrived, they did not recognize Joseph, so he tested them to see if they had remorse over what they did to him. He ended up revealing himself to them, and they apologized for selling him into slavery. This marked the point where the Hebrews' history and Egyptians' history collided. Joseph's family moved into Egypt, where they were given land in the city of Goshen. Jacob's sons, as time continues, are revealed to be the fathers of the tribes of Israel. Many years after Joseph and his brothers died, a new Pharaoh had arisen who did not know Joseph. He began to oppress the descendants of Israel and his 12 sons living in Egypt. This oppression was severe, and according to the Hebrew Holy Text, was a period of 400-year enslavement. According to the Torah, Moses, a boy born from the Hebrew tribe of Levi, was raised in the house of Pharaoh. He left Egypt after murdering a man and encountered God supernaturally. In this particular story, Moses was told to lead the Hebrews out of Egypt from the iron fist of Pharaoh. Though he met resistance from the Egyptians, he, with the help of his brother Aaron, led the Hebrews out of Egypt in a mass exodus in 1446 BC. Once out of Egypt, the Hebrews arrived at Mount Sinai. According to the Torah, this is the location where God met with Moses and gave him the 10 Commandments. In any case, the 10 Commandments, or a general set of moral and social rules, was given to the nomadic nation as the foundation of their religion, society, and government. These were the laws by which the Hebrews believed, if they followed them, they would attain the land of Canaan. After 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, the Hebrews, aka the Israelites, began engaging in military actions to acquire the territory they believed to be theirs by divine right. They exchanged their nomadic ways for an agricultural mode of existence. In time, they intermingled with the original population and adopted various aspects of Canaanite culture. The Israelites succeeded in gaining a hold on territory in Palestine. Israelite life was centered around their God and their law. They were a legalistic, theocratic, monotheistic people. Their culture and society was defined by their 600-plus laws. Their religion was focused on finding atonement through good works and covering of their wrongdoings through sacrificial worship. Government at this point was still tribal, but it evolved to a monarchy around 1050 BC. After about 1200 BC, an invading people known as the Philistines arose as Israel's major enemy. Israel fought the Philistines for many years. Throughout the reign of several kings, the Israelites responded to the threat of this strong external opponent by moving toward greater internal unity. This move toward unity led to the formation of the monarchy. In 1050 BC, Israel demanded the high priests institute a king over them. Though their laws had provisions for this, warnings about a change in a governmental system were also stipulated. Their religion and law indicated that the king that led the nation would essentially define the nation. If the king led the nation wrongly, the people would pay for his disobedience. If the king led the people rightly, the people would be blessed and also follow rightly. Even with the possibility of mass changes to Israelite life, the people desired a king in an effort to attain unity. Unity was not attained with their first king, Saul. In fact, the Israelites did not see unity until 50 years after their decision to instate the monarchy. After Saul's reign, King David rose to power and united the 12 tribes of Israel in 1000 BC. He not only eliminated the threat of the Philistines, he attained political harmony through his dedication to the people, to the law, and ultimately to his God. David established Jerusalem as the royal capital, making that the political, military, and religious center of Israel. David also formed strong ties with Tyre and Sidon, through which Israelite olive oil and grain could be traded for cedar, copper, and various luxury materials. The economic and political prosperity continued in the reign of Solomon. He spent lavishly on public construction projects such as the Temple at Jerusalem. These construction projects required heavy taxation and forced labor, unpopular measures in the eyes of the people. Solomon also took for himself a vast amount of wives and concubines, all of which are said to have led him astray from the God of Israel. The combination of Solomon's heavy taxation, forced labor, and indifference toward Israelite law and religion led to the end of the United Kingdom in 931 BC. Israel remained a nation in the north, and Judah became a nation in the south. This division was the starting point of the decline for the Israelite nation. According to the Jewish Holy Scriptures, many prophets arose as Israel and Judah slipped into moral decay. They warned Judah of the coming exile and Israel of the coming deportation if they did not turn back to their God. One prophet in particular was the prophet Daniel, who alluded to events that would take place nearly 600 years after his initial prophecy. In 722 BC, the expanding Assyrian Empire absorbed Israel and deported its people into other nations. The Chaldean king Nebuchadnezzar conquered Judah in 597 BC, and by 586 BC, Jerusalem was destroyed, and Judah was exiled to Babylon. When the Persian king Cyrus overtook Babylon in 539 BC, he allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem. Under the leadership of Ezra, these Jews began rebuilding the city walls and temple. By 536 BC, Jerusalem was again the Jewish capital. Palestine remained under Persian control until the conquest of Alexander the Great in 332 BC. Once under Hellenistic control, the Jews were absorbed by various Hellenistic kingdoms. Finally, after a very brief period of independence, Jerusalem succumbed to the Roman Empire. From beginning to end, the ancient Hebrews were a fascinating people who surely made an impact on civilization as we see it today. Their Abrahamic religion has led to the rise of Christianity and Islam in modern times. Though monotheism is not uncommon to people today, the ancient Hebrews were bold in their pursuit of religious disconformity. As pioneers of the monotheistic religion, the ancient Hebrews have left their imprint on history for all time.